The final run of the Men's Skeleton World Championships. It's the final day of the 2017 BMW IBSF World Championships at Königssee in Bavaria. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a cold, icy track where I am sitting alongside Olympic champion Amy Williams. And Amy, a fantastic battle in prospect for the medals in the final heat.
Indeed, yes. We've had a few little switches around with Tretyakov here. We have got two Russians. He had the fastest time in the third run. He's moved on up a spot into medal contending for that bronze medal. But the one biting his heels is his younger Russian teammate, Chagyabov, who is in second place. They actually popped out exactly the same time. So they have a little fight between silver and bronze, but will any of them move on up? There is quite a big gap, actually, between our leader, who is actually 57 hundredths in front, and that is Martin Dukas here, who is phenomenal on this track. However, surprisingly, didn't put down the fastest run of the third run, had that little tiny clip out of Kreisel. He will be looking to perfect that and maintain that golden position.
Wearing the red jersey of our world champion, Martin Dukas already has 2 pairs of world championships. He's going for a third straight after winning in Winterberg and in Innsbruck in the last 2 seasons. Nikita Tretyakov brought the gap down from 74 to 57 hundredths. That is still a lifetime on a track where, as you can see from the order here, the gaps between athletes are normally in the hundreds, not in the tenths of seconds. Down towards the bottom of the top 20 are Great Britain rookies. Jerry Rice and Jack Thomas both made it into the field. Chinese rookie Zheng Wenchang, 21st place. He was 20th after the first heat, but from him on down, through a field that includes 14 rookies in the 44 starters from 29 countries, we have more than half the field watching from the sidelines, including an awful lot of the women's skeleton competitors who finished their World Championships on Friday evening. So the start-up area up at the top of the track will soon be filled with 4-man bobsleds, but for the moment, plenty of room to sprint. There's Martin Dukas, your world champion, your world championship leader, and there's Alexander Tretyakov, the Olympic champion. Axel Juncker, Germany, was in the medal position overnight, got eased out by Tretyakov. There's Nikita Tretyakov, Christopher Grote here. The 2 Germans 4th and 5th position, with their teammate Alexander Gassner also firmly in the top 10. In fact, he's in 5th, ahead of Christopher Grote here. Our starting draw for the final heat, 20 down to 1. 20th place Jack Thomas after 3 heats, and the last man on ice about an hour from now will be Martin Dukas, looking to complete a historic straight triple of World Championship gold medals.
Yeah, so Jack Thomas is going off first. He was the slowest from the first one, but it means he gets the beautiful, perfect ice that's just been prepped again. It's still minus 0.5, the ice was same conditions as that run before. He actually had the 14th fastest run on that last one, so he's definitely going to look to improve now.
Great Britain's Jack Thomas gets the the skeleton 4th run underway in the World Championships. 14th fastest in the 3rd heat, and that's what he needed to drag himself into the top 10. A 4:68 getaway. His family are down watching at the finish, and that is comfortably his best run of the weekend. Now, he had a little bit of nerves, was really, really desperate to get into the top 20. He's done that, Amy. Hopefully that will relax him.
Yeah, he just put down his fastest start time there of this competition. He's looking good on the sled. He's looking chilled out. He is definitely going to want to maintain that position. That's a really good exit of Kreisel there. And this is a really good, solid run from Jack in his first ever World Championships.
He made his first ever World Cup start here a year ago today with Jerry Rice. They tied exactly in the first heat, and he comes across the line with a 51.26. And that is 23 hundredths better than his first run this morning, so a quarter of a second better. And look, he's really pumped with that as he comes in past the family and a huge crowd here.
He's going to be absolutely thrilled with that. That is his fastest run of this competition, so he's constantly improving. And you know what, when I saw him start 4 years ago, I was there pushing him off, and I could just see he had this, his natural ability on the sled, and you can just see he's so comfortable and confident. That's him coming out of the S-bends, getting that perfect little tap on the straight and nailing the rest of it. Here he is in Kreisel, the big 360, maintaining that perfect form, just using his foot to steer, trying to control those oscillations without oversteering.
Gets into the lead, family and friends watching immediately opposite him, and that was the 4th fastest start of the entire World Championships, by the way. Next up, Ander Mirambel, a man who lay in 15th place overnight after a really good first day, little loose run in the 3rd of our 4 heats, and that dropped him down the order. Now let's see if he can recover a bit of lost ground and move back up.
He's going to have to pot down the best run of his life here, I think, if he wants to maintain his position. Jack popped down an awesome run there. So that's a 4.88 for him for pushing. Again, the best he has almost pushed in this competition.
Well, his best ever World Championship result was in Winterberg a couple of years ago. He was 25th, and he is already, well, overnight he was in 15th, 10 places higher than that. So this will still be, without a doubt, his best World Championships.
Yeah, and a good straight there, just using his toes to steer.
Uses a Bromley-built sled from the UK, coached by Martin Rettel and a group of coaches that have this group of small nation athletes that they're working with. Good-looking run, but he's still in 2nd place. He's losing ground. Jack Thomas of Great Britain is going to stay in the leader's box. Will not finish 20th. Ander Mirambel is in 2nd spot.
I think we're going to see Jack stay in there for a little bit longer. It's nice for him to have that feeling, actually, of being in top spot for a few different ones. But look, you know, Ander still popped down his fastest run out of all 4 runs, and that's what you want to be doing. That's how you want to finish your World Champs.
Jack Thomas just started in the 4th fastest start time with the 8th fastest run we've seen today.
Impressive, hey? I think that just shows that those nerves have just lifted. You've got nothing to lose on the last run. And, you know, you want a personal best. And I think that shows you when the tension leaves your body, you relax, you enjoy it, and actually you put down a good performance. So this is going to be a massive learning curve for Jack.
2 sleds down, 18 to go in the Skeleton World Championships, and the return to the big stage of John Daly. We last saw him action on your TV screens in the 2014 Olympic final. The final heat, he was contending for a medal. The sled popped out of the start grooves, and he turned his back and walked away from the sport heartbroken. In the summer, he decided that that was not the way to leave it and has come back to the ice. He's been away for 3 seasons. He's race rusty. He's not as fast as he used to be, but he's still got a year to go for retribution at the Games.
Having a good run so far, just got his head up a little bit too high there, but he hasn't been on this track for, like we say, many years. He's coming back fighting. He needs a really good run here at the bottom to actually take over. At the moment, he's still just behind Jack.
First run of his was the best. He was 16th fastest after the first heat, then 20th and 19th fastest runs. So still not quite getting the hang of the Königssee track. As you say, the head is up, he's 500s back, and he's 100th behind. Jack Thomas moves up 2. But a big smile from Coach Tuffy Latour, because John Daly will hang on in front of Ander Mirambel. He'll be no worse than 19th. He's in the top 20 in the world after nearly 4 years away from the ice. And it is great to see him back, and that is a good run from him, 51.38, half a second quicker than anything he's produced.
Yeah, he's happy there. You can see he's been for a lot. He's trained hard. He's working full time. He must be absolutely exhausted, cramming in all these different races. But he's qualified. He's here in the World Champs. And I think to get top 20 when you've had 3 years off the ice, you know, look at him. He's relieved.
He's working full time. He's done 10 races in 8 weeks.
Now let's see what Jerry Rice can pot down. Can he push faster than Jack Thomas?
We're going to have to come up with a better name for the fans than the Rice Pudding Club. That was, I was just confronted with that when I met his family. Jerry Rice, a Cresta Run slider, worked on the Cresta Run in St Moritz as well, where his dad is a club member. So he started his career 4 years ago with Mark Woods, the development coach, and Amy Williams, who sits alongside now, watching his progress.
Yeah, there's a great bond and battle between Jack Thomas and Jerry Rice, having lived together for a few years. He's got a great start time there, so he is fighting too.
Well, he needs to try and find 0.2 of a second to overhaul Nathan Crumpton, who's in front of him. First job, though, is to beat his longtime training partner and travelling mate, Jack Thomas. Oh, and a little skid.
Little skid there because he was actually fighting for it not to hit, but you've got to take that little hit. He hasn't got the same speed. How will he come out of Kreisel? Clean, but I think he had to work quite hard there.
They were only 1400s apart. He was 1400s up. He's now 1200s back, and it looks as though he's going to slip behind John Daly as well. He will do. He's in third place on the splits in front of Ander Mirambel of Spain, and he comes across the line in third, a 51.85. Still his fastest run of all four. Still in the top 20 in the world on his World Championship debut.
Yeah, great performance there. He's still improving with every single run, but that just goes to show how awesome Jack Thomas's run was there, actually. Still coming down in a faster time. But, you know, these two are learning. They're learning from each other. There's his little fan club there.
Little,
and there's him
cute.
coming out of the S4. Perfect line down, but he didn't allow the sled to take that little knock that you need to at the right place, and he's fighting it a little bit, and that skid there would have cost him that speed that he needed to go into Kreisel. But look, he's happy. He's finished in the top 20.
4 down, 16 to go. Great Britain's Jack Thomas, who just broke into the top 20 on the third heat of 4, is the leader. Nathan Crumpton of the USA has a 3400th of a second advantage. And the former triple jumper from Princeton ending his second year in the World Cup, 13th, 18th, 20th. He's been going in the wrong direction with his speed on this track. Let's see if he can turn that around.
Yeah, it's a very short sprinting start here, and then it drops really quickly. So you've got to unload onto that sled as fast as possible, get in that perfect position with your head and shoulders low, feet together. You've got those big 4 S-bends that go straight into each other, down into this very wonky straight.
Every sled that comes down now will have a greater advantage on aggregate over Jack Thomas of Great Britain, the leader. All 4 runs count. You can't take any out. It's not down to the final heat. All but Nathan Crumpton late out of the Kreisel. Only 1400ths of his 3400s lead remain. Can he rescue this? Will he stay in front? Or is he too going to slip behind Jack Thomas? He has gone into the red, and it's uphill all the way to the line. There's no coming back. Jack Thomas moves on again.
Look at him. Yeah, I mean, he's actually ranked 11th in the World Cup ranking. So for him, this is, you know, he's not performed in the same kind of way. It's a race over two days, the World Champ, so you have to put down 4 consistent runs. All these guys are actually improving on most of their runs, but it is the consistent slider that actually does win.
Well, he'll be disappointed, 2200 slower, and the exit of Kreisel, which is the undoing of many runs here, has caught him out as well.
Yeah, it's the one corner you want to perfect with that camber straight going down there, which you really need to perfect to get the speed. Great that all the athletes congratulate each other at the end there.
Jack Thomas of Great Britain leads from John Daly and Nathan Crumpton of the USA. 5 down, 15 to come in the final 4th heat of the Skeleton World Championships. Martin Haven and 2010 Olympic champion Amy Williams watching the action as St. Petersburg's Pavel Kulikov comes to the line. Here, there are 4 Russians in the field. Kulikov in 15th place.
Yes, he's been improving with every single push, and he has then again 4:73, the second quickest so far of this 4th run.
Well, the start track is getting less frosty and brittle than it was earlier, so they're all going a little quicker. Just 24 years old, former decathlete and cross-country skier. 5600ths ahead of Jack Thomas. The gap is coming down.
Yeah, he's got to hold it together. good oscillations there, but is he oversteering?
Jack Thomas.
Perfect angle coming out.
Thomas was faster in the Kreisel, the gap coming down to 4800s, but he can't run out of room now. He's survived the danger spot of the lower labyrinth. He'll have enough speed on board. It's stabilising at around 410, so he will take the lead. And Jack Thomas is in second spot. Only third fastest run, but Pavel Kulikov goes in front. Well, he will be delighted. You see his dad down at the bottom. His mum Ella's been with him on tour as well. And she is back home, I'm sure, watching in Russia. And his dad will be down there, delighted with that. He was 12th in Eagles last year. Leads with 14 to go. There's Nikolai, his father, with the camera. And the Russians will celebrate that.
Yeah, here's the powerful start of him pushing, sprinting. Interestingly, not many of them actually sprint on that side of the sled, but he gets down into position. So here we are with Jack Thomas and the Russian on Dartfish, and you can see the different way that the oscillations are. Jack's got his feet together and a lot neater and tidier, but he just pips him, and Jack's had to say goodbye to that leader's box.
Big smile from Pavel Kulikov, our race leader. Matthias Guggenberger at the top of the track. Didn't compete last year in Innsbruck, his home track. Fell ill in the team race on the first weekend. Couldn't compete in the men's skeleton competition. So a chance now for the Austrian. 18th, 10th and 13th fastest in a field of 44 in his first 3 heats. 600s in front of Pavel Kulikov, 100 faster at the start, so he opens up the 500s lead. But now Kulikov's good run, he must at least match it to go into the lead.
Yeah, that's his best start of these 4 heats. Now he wants the best drive of his life of the 4 heats. Looking good so far, staying calm. Perfect straight into Kreisel.
But he's in red numbers, 67.4 miles an hour, 1 mile an hour too slow in the Kreisel, hits the wall on the exit, the gap will grow. Kulikov will remain in the lead. Good as he is aerodynamically, Guggenberger's not going to find speed uphill if he doesn't have it downhill. 1700s, he's going to lose 2 spots behind Jack Thomas maybe. No, at the line, he is just in front of Jack Thomas. He's second, Kulikov still leads.
Yeah, Gugi's one of the most experienced riders here of the field.
Well, Gugi disappointed with that. Should be up in the top 10 in the World Championships, but not a track that really plays to his strongest suit. And Exeter Kreisel has caught so many out. The long curving straight and the exits of the Kreisel are just horrible when they go wrong.
Yeah, just got too much height there, which means you drop off, you hit that, but then he controlled it well to actually still get a very smooth exit through that labyrinth. Little skid there in the uphill section, which you really don't want.
Barrett Martineau of Canada, 13th place after 3 of 4 heats in the Skeleton Men's World Championships for 2017. 12th and 11th runs in heats 1 and 3, but a 16th fastest in heat 2. Really slipped him down the order. He's in 13th place, just behind his teammate. 473 getaway, comfortably the fastest that the former ski jumper has produced in this World Championships.
Yes, he's been constantly improving. Every single one of his runs, he's knocked off a few tenths of a second. Just controlling it there, taking the hit.
1100s ahead of Pavel Kulikov after 3 heats. The gap was down to 800s. Is he still in the green? Yes, 900s of a second. Barrett Martineau just about on target to stay in front of Pavel Kulikov. Doesn't matter if you are slower on the run as long as all 4 add up to more speed and less time. 1400s in front, he'll take the lead with 11 sleds to go. Kulikov leaves the leader's box. Kajiva Parkan's happy with that. Barrett Martineau will finish no worse than 13th. He might yet move up a spot or 2 as well. It's very tight in his part of the field. There's teammate Jane Channel, who raced in the women's competition.
Interestingly, of those 8 sliders that we've just seen, Jack Thomas from Great Britain has still actually put down the fastest run. You could just see then taking that knock on the right-hand side along with that left-hand knock. So, yeah, skidding, hitting, you've got to just get it in exactly the right angle, right place on this track.
Barrett Martineau with the grizzly bear on his helmet. And so has Dave Greshcheshin, his Canadian teammate. Greshcheshin's nickname is Grizz. His surname, as you can see, is a massive Scrabble multi-letter score. That'll clean everybody off the board. That's why his friends and family call him Grizz. Makes life a lot easier. Former rugby player, the teacher from London, Ontario. And one of the tallest men in the field. Greshcheshin, 14th last year in the World Championships. He was 11th in his debut in Winterberg 2 seasons ago in the World Championships, and that's where he'd like to move back up to 479. He was in 10th place overnight, but only a 15th fastest third heat slipped him down.
Yeah, there's a little battle between the Canadians here with Martineau, his teammate, in front, who's ranked 12th in the world, and Dave here is ranked 17th. So he's done really well, actually. But yeah, there's a little battle about who's going to be ranked the top Canadian.
1800s in front as he gets to the Kreisel. He's pulling away from his teammate, gets a good exit, a really good exit.
Yeah, that was really beautiful exit there, controlling it really well, letting the sled run.
1:14.6 is 71.2 miles an hour, second fastest sled we've seen at the bottom. Great run from Greshcheshin, exactly what he wanted, 51.30, second fastest run of the heat so far. There's the Men's Skeleton World Championship trophy, waiting for our gold medalist to lift it inside the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was his fastest heat of all 4 runs. Every single run gets added up, counts, you don't drop one at all.
Chris, that's the run he wanted to finish out the Worlds, and that might move him into the top 10. Great exit from the Kreisel. Good speed down the bottom. One little rub there on the uphill section. Dave Greshcheshin leads the Canadian 1-2. 11 sleds to go. Rhys Thornberry, 19th in the first heat, 13th in the second heat, 11th fastest in the third, 7th fastest in the third heat rather, leapt up 6 spots after the first run. He now lies in 11th position, a 10th of a second out of a top 10 finish in only his second World Championships. Well, born in Western Australia, representing New Zealand, but he works as an RAF weapons technician at RAF Bryce Norton in Oxfordshire. Tied for the lead with Dave Greshcheshin.
Yes, there was a World Cup event here 2 weeks ago, and he was actually 8th in it. So he obviously likes this track, is suited to it.
And he's another one of these sliders coached by the group led by Martin Rettel, and that has transformed his form. This season has been an absolute standout for him. He's behind Greshcheshin, but he too gets a good exit off the Kreisel through the labyrinth. Is he going to hang on at the moment? 700ths of a second, 1:15.1, 71.5 miles an hour, fastest of all. It's going to be close at the line. Oh, 400th behind. One more spot up the order for Dave Greshcheshin, but Rhys Thornberry will finish no worse than 12th position, by far and away his best result in the World Championships. A year ago in Innsbruck in Austria, 24th. A year of full-time coaching, he has halved that number.
Yeah, so here's our dartfish. Seeing the difference between the 2 athletes coming down. Where do they hit? What are their body positions like? They're actually very, very similar. I mean, he had great speed, nearly the second fastest speed. And look at them. They're one of the 2 of the biggest guys in the field.
10 down, 10 to go. Dave Greshcheshin of Canada trying to break back into the top 10. Rhys Thornberry of New Zealand lies in second. Well, the nature of this track, Amy Williams, is that it is so close. 100th here or 100th there, as little as that tiny amount can make a difference in position.
Yeah, in some races there could be 100th of a second maybe separating 10 sliders. It can be so close, and literally every single centimetre counts on this track. Getting the perfect angles in and out of corners.
Well, each track has a different nature. What was your relationship with Königssee? Love, hate, somewhere in between?
I was somewhere in between. When you're learning, I have crashed out of that Kreisel many a time. My poor mum, I used to make her stand there on races. She had a few heart attacks almost. But no, it's a love-hate relationship. You've got to nail that straight, and that's the hardest thing, and staying relaxed. But you know what? Yeah, there's always a track you love and always a track that you hate.
Mimi Reneva, you saw there, and Nathan Crumpton's mum, who was down in the crowd, as well as Pavel Kulikov's dad. A lot of athletes here today. We saw our world champion Jacqueline Learning a little earlier on, walking down with teammate Anna Fernstedt, and a whole host of athletes here making their final day in the World Championships a good one. There's Jacka, the women's world champion, Youth Olympic champion 2012 in girls skeleton. And 5 years later, she's a world champion. And her trophy yesterday presented by Dr. Thomas Bach, the president of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. In fact, with you, Amy, with Lizzie Yarnell, we had 5 Olympic champions. There's Anja Huber, shared the podium with Lizzie Yarnell in 2010 at the Olympics and the 2008 World Champion. She's another Berchtesgaden girl. She's coaching their juniors. She was in Winterberg all week. Saw her last weekend for the team competition. She was here watching, and back here again watching the action. There is your race leader, Dave Kriszczeshin, whose brother is in the crowd watching the action as well. 10 down, 10 to go. Final sliders of the Skeleton World Championships for 2017. Mattia Gaspari of Italy moved on 2 spots up the order into the top 10 after the third of 4 heats. I'm Martin Haven, alongside me, Olympic champion Amy Williams. Can Gaspari hang on? 1800s in hand as he lies down and gets corner 1 neatly out of the way.
Yeah, this athlete is getting better with every single race, with every single slide. He is learning very quickly. Yeah, and constantly seeking to improve. He's got good form there, really low head, which is the first things you learn when you're starting off.
Decent speed at the Kreisel, 68.4 miles an hour. Fastest of all has been 68.8. He's got 1100 still in front of Kriszczeshin. I think he's going to break the Canadian's heart and stay in the top 10.
Yeah, it's very close between these sliders here. Can he keep his spot?
Yes, he does, by a 10th of a second, a 51.35, and he remains in the top 10. Last year, his best World Championships, he was 15th. Didn't slide at all before January. He's doing his entrance exams for the Italian Police Service. Had no pre-season at all. Most other athletes are on ice from October. So he's come in race rusty, but maybe a lot less tired and a lot fitter. And as a result, he's really exploded.
Yeah, so there he is coming out the S-bends. Good line, controls it well, takes the hit in exactly the right place, and then just has to make himself go through without any skids, which he does perfectly. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't raced as much, so I think considering his lack of ice time, that is a really, really good result from him.
9 sleds to go in the World Championships. We get to Thomas Ducours, who had a wild run in the first heat. It really cost him. He was in the top half dozen, almost dropped out of the top 10 with just 1 random slide. His brother leads the field, 35 years old. He's now, well, he's still the older of the duo. Bronze medalist in Winterberg 2 years ago in the World Championships is his best World Champs result.
Yeah, I think we know he can perform better. He had his worst result in that last run, the third run, coming down in 21st place. So, yes, very shocking from him that we're not expecting him to ever see him in this position. Can he pull it back for this 4th and final run?
4th in the last 2 men's skeleton competitions at the Winter Olympic Games, just out of the podium both times. He's not going to make a podium finish here, but can he hold the lead over Mattia Gaspari? Oh, again, hits out of the Kreisel, 900s. He's a big slider, but has he got enough speed left to stay in front of the Italian, or is Gaspari going to move up? Speed is good, but not as good as the Italians. He's behind. Surely there's no momentum left. Ducos is going to slip to 10th. He does slip. Gaspari moves up. He'll be no worse than 9th place. Mattia, you need to take the first half of the season off more often. Maybe not an Olympic year, but...
No, that's quite surprising from Thomas Ducos there. You know, considering he is one of our most experienced sliders there, I think he's going to be very bitterly disappointed. But you know what? Sometimes you can't, it just doesn't work for you. Sometimes it just doesn't click. So here's our dartfish going around the Kreisel, our big 360 between the Italian and Ducos there. Ducos has a higher oscillation, whereas the Italian is actually more consistent, and he drops off the corner there and taking that hit and that little skid. He controls it well, but that will bleed a little bit of speed.
Might just be that he's testing something for the games that didn't work. Great Britain's Dom Parson lies in 8th place going into the 4th and final heat of the Men's Skeleton World Championships. His two rookie teammates both made it into the top 20. Italian Mattia Gaspari having his best World Championships to date. And the young man from Cortina d'Ampezzo is in the leader's box as Dom Parsons heads down for his final slide.
Yes, let's see how he can do here. He's come down in 9th, 7th and 9th in all the different 3 heats, so very consistent. He's still going to want to move on up. This is his 4th World Championship, so he's very experienced at this 2 different days of racing, but he's going to need to keep the speed. Looking good so far, Dom.
7/10 in front of Gaspari from the first heat. Top speed in the Kreisel is very good, not quite as quick as the Italians. 8/10 up, he's added to his advantage.
Has a good, clean exit there, allowing the sled to run.
Fastest speed of all at the bottom. Dom Parsons will stay in the lead and challenge maybe to move up further. 51.18, finally somebody goes quicker than Jack Thomas, 500ths of a second quicker than his teammate, who now has the 2nd fastest trip in this heat.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see when someone came down quicker than Jack Thomas, who was off in 20th place. First one down the ice, had that beautiful clean ice. But yes, Dom has just pipped his own teammate. Just skidding across there as he's fighting to get to the corner. But that was a really beautiful clean run from Dom there. Great Kreisel, keeping his form together, not panicking, and that allowed him to have great speed down the bottom of the track.
Girlfriend Jackie Narracott, who finished her World Championships for Australia yesterday, is down at the bottom watching, so she'll be happy for his result. And with 7 sleds to go, the USA's Matt Antoine comes to the line. 7th, 9th and 8th in his 3 runs so far. Struggling to find a top 6 run in this Königssee track. Tuffy Latour, the coach, holds the sled. And the difference between Matt and a top 10 is 7/10 of a second. Top 6 will be 7/10 of a second. And that is a big ask. Originally from Pro Duchesne, Wisconsin, he now lives in Phoenix, Arizona. 4:75, that's not a bad getaway. His fastest in the competition. He used to be among the top 3 or 4 in the world now. 7th, 8th at the start.
Yeah, that's his best start time of all 4 runs.
Ooh, little skiddy after that tap on the wall, straightens it up. The longer your levers, the less you have to rock the hips to get that oscillation to stop. 110.3, good speed, about 3rd fastest in the Kreisel. 1600s in front of Dom Parsons of Great Britain, and he'll keep that alive with a good run at the bottom of the track. 1:15.1, 71.5 miles an hour. Gap still at 1600s, and Dom Parsons will be out, and Matt Antoine in the leader's box with 6 sleds to go.
Yeah, I think we're going to see these gaps closing up now. It's going to be very, very tight between these top athletes.
Well, Zach Lunn goes up to help him with the sled. Matt-Antoine maybe a little frustrated by this track in his World Championships. Well, there you can see Matt behind the line of Dom Parsons.
Yeah, it's a great way to see the difference between your slides. You're always studying and looking at different lines, different sliders, and trying to see where you can get extra speed from each corner.
Pensive Matt-Antoine is the leader. Final 6 sleds to go in the Men's Skeleton World Championships in Königssee, Bavaria, and on this German track of our top 6, perhaps no surprise to find 3 are from Germany, but they are 6th and 5th and 4th. Will Germany take a medal? Christopher Groothaar in 6th position. He was 6th, 6th and 6th in his 3 runs. Can he go better? 4.70, his fastest start.
Yeah, he's got a big advantage going into this run. He knows this track better than anyone. The Germans know where to get the speeds, having had hundreds and hundreds of runs down their own track. It's really beautiful to watch them slide, actually. Takes a little extra hit there, though, so obviously a little bit more panic and intention.
Was 7/10 in front of Matt-Antoine. Speed's not good, not even 110 kilometers an hour. The gap will come down, but surely he can't give away 3/4 of a second. But that's a worry. The speed was not good in the Kreisel. Better at the bottom. He's within 3/10 of a mile an hour of the top speed, and he takes the lead, but doesn't go quite as quickly as Matt-Antoine. A 51.25. That's not as quick as Jack Thomas either. Matt-Antoine, Jack Thomas, the 2nd fastest slides of the day. Fastest of all so far has come from Dom Parsons, but it's not a one-heat race. All 4 count. Well, he will finish no worse than 6th. Little wry smile from Christopher Groothaar.
Yeah, he narrowly missed hitting there and just hit a little bit later down that straight than quite a lot of the other athletes, which pushes him across and he takes that double whammy. And that's why he didn't have the same speed going into Kreisel. So quite unusual for a German athlete to actually make that mistake there.
I saw the grimace from his coach Jens Müller, the Olympic and world champion in men's luge. Christopher Groothaar of Germany leads. Alexander Gassner, his teammate, next up. Gassner set a new track record a week ago in the team competition. Out of the blue, smoked by Alexander Tretiakov. Maybe Tretiakov didn't bring his A game to the team race, but Gassner lies in 5th position. And if he could produce another 50.01 run now, boy, would that set the track alight.
Yeah, we've got 3 Germans in a row here. Let's see the difference in their lines. He's looking very cool and calm as he goes into those S-bends. No thinking time between those bends. It's a strange kind of feeling going through them as you get sucked up and pulled down, just taking that knock. He's got better speed than his teammate going in. Controlling those 3 oscillations well. Coming out without a hit, so he's got much more speed coming down now into the bottom section of the track.
7,800s in front. He was only 4,700s up as he lay down. 9/10 in front. Alexander Gassner, what a run he's putting in. Shooting to be the best German. That's got to do it, surely. A 50.75. Well, he did 50.78 in the first heat. He's 3,900s behind teammate Axel Jung. Is that going to be enough to move him up? Actually, maybe it's not.
Yeah, that was a great run from him there. He's got a good, clear lead now in front of his other German teammate. Exit of Kreisel here, getting that height just at the right place. He doesn't have to fight, therefore he can just stay relaxed on that sled. And that gave him all the speed at the bottom. Really, really good speed. Going around smoothly into that corner.
Exactly half a second quicker than his teammate to open up the gap over Christopher Groothaar to 9,700s. Axel Juncker, Germany next up. Germany 1-2. We will have a German leader. Will we? Can we have a German medalist here in Königssee? Well, there's a lot of noise beside our commentary position from the Axel Jung fan club. This man who now lives in Dresden, Altenburg, his home track. Axel, third in the World Cup rankings, hasn't won a race this year, just one medal, and that was bronze in Altenburg, the first race in January. First heat has let him down. He's been second and third quickest in the other two. What can he do now? 4:66 getaway, matches his best start to the competition. He knows it's now or never for a medal, Amy Williams.
Yeah, I think sometimes when that tension leaves your body, you just actually relax a bit more. You can get a little bit more out of your start. Great run. That's exactly how you want to do this straight here at Königssee.
1:11.7, 69.4 miles an hour, half a mile an hour quicker than anybody. Bumps the wall, still on the exit of Kreisel. Good run through the labyrinth though. Half a second up on Gassner. This is about challenging Tretyakov and Tregyabov for the medals.
Yeah, the Germans will want a medal out of this championships in the men's, and he does. He's in first place, comes over in a time of 50.54.
Well, again,
fastest so far.
Not as quick as his first heat, which is a 55.0. Is it enough? Is the track holding up? As the day warms up, is it starting to slow? Is it starting to sag? Is Axel Jung going to get a medal? We will find out in 2 minutes.
There's the two Germans coming out of that S-bend, and you can just see the difference where they take the hits, but they are incredibly similar actually. But 1 centimetre to the left or the right can make all the difference. Here you are. So this is where he just makes that little bit of mistake, takes that hit and clip. That could bleed maybe, 1 mile per hour, which can make all the difference in that bottom part of the track.
Jung looking at the times. He'll be watching the screen intently as we get to our final 3 sliders. The Olympic champion from Sochi 2014, Alexander Tretyakov, the last man to win a race on this track 3 weeks ago. He took the gold medal in the World Cup encounter here. He's in third place after moving up overnight. His teammate lies 1700ths in front. The gold medal is over 7/10 away. This is a battle between 2 Russians for who's going to be the best of the rest.
Yeah, these 2 Russian athletes now fighting had exactly the same time in their third run. How is this 4th and final run going to go for them? Can Tretyakov keep it together? He's making a few little mistakes there. He's got a lot of pressure knowing that his younger teammate is in front of him. His speed isn't as good.
Wavy in the Kreisel, he's going back. He's behind Axel Jung by 300ths of a second. Does he know how to find speed at the bottom the way the Germans do? 1:14.1, 2 miles an hour slow. He's not going to take a medal. The Olympic champion, the 2013 world champion is out, and Jung is in the medals.
The Germans get a medal. How happy is he?
How Axel Jung's demeanour has changed from the first heat where he could barely contain his rage at himself. Now he is in the medals, and Tretyakov, a winner here 3 weeks ago, may not get a medal at all.
No, he is trying to smile, but he really isn't, is he? And he knows he made some mistakes. This vital straight he didn't quite get. He took that little hit, but then took 1 extra, trying to fight not to skid there, and that would have bled him that little tiny bit of time.
Wow, talk about tension. 2 to go. Germany's Axel Jung has at least a bronze. 2 sliders left. Nikita Tregyabov, 6th place in the Winter Games. And the 21-year-old Russian, his best World Championship result has been 4th place in Winterberg 2 years ago. He was only 5th in Eagles last year. Both starts that really favour the quick getaway. And he is the fastest starter in the field. Can he take a medal here, or will he flake?
Yeah, Tretyakov has been the top Russian for 6 years. Can this young lad come on through and change the guard? Can he be top-ranked Russian?
4:63. Again, Tretyakov has outstarted him. Tregyabov has a lead over Axel Jung. It's only 1200ths. It's out to 18 because of the start, but it's coming down, Amy.
That was a much better straight from him than his teammate. So he controlled that better.
A mile an hour slower, half-mile-hour slower rather than Axel Jung. 100th in it. He's got to be perfect now. Has he got the speed in the sled? Jung could move up. He is going to move up. Tregibov, will he take a medal or is he going to drop behind Alexander Tretyakov? He's going to be in second place in the line. He will take a medal, but Axel Jung can't believe it. Cannot believe it. He's going to take at least a silver medal.
Wow, both those Russian sleds lost it in the Kreisel. And I think we're going to see that in a minute on Dartfish. So that is really surprising. But Axel there knows where to get the speed from those bottom corners. And that's the German secret. So we've got Dartfish coming in a minute. Here we are. So this is the Kreisel with the two Russian, the German and Russian with Axel. Axel already creeping ahead. You can see he drops in a different place, so they get that oscillation, and that's getting them the speed coming out of the corner, and they know how to keep that for those bottom corners.
Oh my word. One slider to go. Surely the unthinkable cannot happen. 4 times already a world champion. Martin Stukus won the last 2 years, Winterberg and Innsbruck. He's now going for a historic 3rd straight men's skeleton gold medal.
Can he keep it together? He didn't have the best exit of Kreisel from his 3rd run, and that bled him some of the speed. So he's going to want to absolutely perfect that if he wants to keep this gold medal position.
Well, his advantage over Axel Jung was 3/4 of a second. He makes a hit, he makes 2, he skids, he makes 3 hits on the bend away. He was still 9/10 in front. 109.2, 67.9. Jung had 69.5. The gap is still 68 but he avoids drama in the labyrinth where he has crashed out before. He is going to win a 3rd straight World Championship gold medal, but the gap has come down. He won't have the fastest run, but he is our new world champion. A 50.93 run is enough. It wasn't great, but it was good enough. And again, Superman, the greatest skeleton slider the sport has ever seen, sets another new record. A triple consecutive world champion.
Yeah, phenomenal. That is Martin Stukus for you. Absolutely phenomenal skeleton slider. One of the best people to watch. And, you know, he kept it together. He did get a better exit Kreisel, and he had such a big lead. Something quite drastic had to happen for him to have lost that.
The first of his 5 World Championship golds came here in 2011. He won in Lake Placid in 2012. Alexander Tretyakov broke the streak in St. Moritz 2013. He won again in Winterberg 2015, Eagles Austria 2016, and here in Königssee, Bavaria in 2017.
Let's just look at him, that powerful start, exploding and getting onto the sled into that perfect, calm position. Look how low he is. He keeps his form absolutely perfect. Coming out of Kreisel, yes, high, but he just manages to not hit it and stay calm for that perfect exit. Look how low he is to the sled, just allowing that sled to run.
First in the 2 heats on day 1, 4th in the 2 heats today, but he's our triple world champion. Axel Jung absolutely jubilant with silver. Nikita Tregibov, the bronze medalist for the 2nd time in his career. And Alexander Tretyakov is out of the medals in 4th. In fact, that is the 1st World Championship medal for Nikita Tregibov. His best previous was 4th 2 years ago. Oh my goodness. Well, Martin Stukus really tantalized us with that. Axel Jung takes silver. What a recovery from a crushingly disappointing first heat. Tregibov the bronze, Tretyakov, Gassner and Grothair round out the top half dozen. Matt Antoine, the best of the US sliders. Don Parsons ahead of Mattia Gaspari. What a run from him. And Dave Christian of Canada rounding out the top 10. Good finish for Grizz. And just outside the 10, really good run from New Zealander Rhys Thornbury. victory, way in excess of his best expectations. 11th ahead of Thomas Ducours. Pat Martineau, great run from Pavel Kulikov as well. John Daly returns from 3 years away, 17th. Ahead of Nathan Crumpton. The two British rookies, Jack Thomas, Jerry Rice, both firmly in the top 20. Jack Thomas went from 21st overnight to 16th. Great day for him. And Adam Mirambel, his first ever top 20 World Championship performance. And still, he needs to have a red cape floating behind him and his underpants on the outside of his tights, because Martins Ducours more than justifies the nickname of Superman. Again, he makes it look so easy. On day one, he gave himself all he needed, and on day two of the World Championships, he claims a historic third straight gold medal. And again, as humble in crushing victory as he is when he occasionally gets it wrong. There is your triple world champion, Latvia's Martins Ducours. Well, my thanks to Olympic champion Amy Williams for all her words of wisdom over these World Championships. Thanks too for you for being with us. On behalf of the entire crew here in Königssee, I'm Martin Haven saying thank you for being with us. Auf Wiedersehen and goodbye.